started listening to electronic music much earlier than I started making it, but not too much further. I started listening to electronic music when I was about 16, so it's in the mid-90s. And then I went to the San Francisco Art Institute and took a sound art class. And so tried to get away with doing art projects that were essentially me trying to make the electronic music that I really liked. And I was probably 18, so this is 97. I mean, I would put together things that I would call demos, and then I've actually been digging through and finding a bunch of old ones that aren't albums anyway. It's just, and then my songs would always be really short, so it'd be like, here's 30 songs on a CD that I would be like handing to people or sending out. So I didn't really start putting together albums and cover art and everything, especially until I started doing it digitally about 5 or 6 years ago. The nice thing about making electronic music is you don't really have to answer to anyone. It's like any sort of solo project, whether it be a rock band or electronic music production. It's very much me pursuing as best I can making the sound that I'm most interested in. Although, you know, there's a bit of lining up what one does with what one's peers do if you want to play out. The electronic music scene here is as lively as ever. It's always been big here. Just like the indie scene, there's lots of little separate cliques and groups of people that perform their own little style of music, and with some people that can switch between them. That's like a interesting and bad thing about it, is the sort of lines in the sand where like this or that person makes experimental electronic music, or this or that person plays more pop-based electronic music, and often the music sounds exactly the same, but the people will run in completely different scenes. My personal vision for my type of music is I'm very specific about the rules with which I follow when I'm making music. It's kind of the same way I do any project artistically, is I set some sort of group of rules. So all of my songs are made of samples and at this point mostly from samples I'm finding online, on audio blogs and through other hunting for obscure musics. And each song is composed out of however many, you know, I could just say some large number, 30 or 40 or more different songs, and then bunches of bits out of each of those songs to compose a song. And so my vision is to create a cohesive whole out of those bits, something in which the sound design, even if I'm not the one who initially made the sound, that the way that the different sounds are juxtaposed and subtly adjusted, I don't use a lot of effects and things, makes the song have this sort of a unique, sort of lived-in feel to it. Part of what brings me to electronic music, and it is most interesting about it, is I'm a DJ, and I started collecting music very vehemently or actively early on in my getting into music, and I've always been a fan of music since I was 12 or 10, always hunting for new and particular music to fit something that I'm interested in. And I would say the most important thing is to know what you like, not to know what scene you want to be in, or not to know what kind of shows you want to play, or that social aspect, but to be really sure of your own aesthetic, what kind of music sounds good to you, what area of music that you feel that you have a voice or something to say that would be useful to that scene. And then it can range, the ways of going about making it can range anywhere from just downloading some free software online like Audacity and sampling music together, to buying a synthesizer and sitting at home and tinkering. It's the best and worst thing about electronic music is how endless the variety of ways to tackle the same song there are.